Don't torture yourself, Gomez. That's my job. Do you know whose words they are? Do you know the most sinister, scary, and funny? For us, family? Hello everyone and welcome to Top Things. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the sensational video that follows. Have you heard of the Addams Family? Of course you have. Have you ever wondered what are they doing today? Let's see then. In light of the characters of shocking illustrator Charles Addams and the 1960s TV arrangement by David Levy, the dull awfulness parody The Addams Family, 1991, and its continuation Addams Family Values, 1993, were a hit with crowds because of a run-down cast drove by Angelica Houston, Raul Julia, and Christopher Lloyd. With fun visuals and zingy jokes, the movies made demons cool and offered a new, current interpretation of America's most renowned, dull, unusual, and highborn anecdotal family. Christopher Lloyd, Uncle Fester. Christopher Lloyd was ostensibly the greatest star coming into the Addams Family, having recently played Doc Brown in Back to the Future arrangement and Reverend Jim Ignatowski on TV's Taxi, among numerous different jobs. His aptitude in making strange, peculiar characters settled on him the ideal decision for Uncle Fester, the bear power magnate who regularly gets the most chuckles in any adaptation of the establishment. Lloyd conveys a brilliantly odd execution and the film illuminates, play on words expected, at whatever point he's on screen. Post-Addams, Lloyd has kept on acting continually in a wide scope of TV and film projects. Among his more eminent late movies are Piranha 3D and Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. His less striking work incorporates playing a character named Lero Sombrero on the scandalously heartbreaking youngster's image the Oogie loves in The Big Balloon Adventure. Lloyd, as of now, has a few promising films in the can, including Zach Braff's change of the 1979 heist parody Going in Style, in which he will show up close Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine. John Franklin, Cousin It. Cousin It likely could be the weirdest character in the Addams Family, and that is stating a ton. He wasn't made by Charles Addams, however, and finds a way into the world entirely regardless. It is a short individual, or possibly we believe he's an individual, totally hung in long streaming hair. Nobody can perceive what's under that mane. Evidently, it's a sexual being, as the film discovers him taking part in an extramarital entanglements with the spouse of a bad legal advisor expectation on grabbing the Addams family's cash. Depicting Cousin It was Chicago local John Franklin, who grew up with a development hormone inadequacy that shielded him from developing past 4 foot 10 inches. Preceding the Addams Family, he played Isaac in 1984's Children of the Corn and habitually worked in advertisements. Franklin has had a couple of minor film jobs in his way, a touch part in Wag the Dog being the most noticeable of them. In 2003, he chose to resign from acting to educate screenwriting and English. Today, he instructs at Golden Valley High School in Santa Clarita, California, under his genuine name, John Celepatic. Judith Molina, Granny. Judith Molina was a German entertainer who helped to establish the Living Theater, a cutting-edge political acting group that accomplished reputation during the 50s and 60s for advanced things like cannabis use and bareness, both in front of an audience and in the crowd. After coming to Hollywood, she made sure about positions working for significant chiefs, remembering Sidney Lumet for Dog Day Afternoon, Woody Allen in Radio Days, and Paul Mazursky in Enemies, A Love Story. Showing up in a numbskull parody like The Addams Family was a genuine difference in speed for Molina, yet she moved toward the part of Granny with the very earnestness that she brought to sensational jobs. Dan Hidaya, Tully Alford. Dan Hidaya is one of the quintessential that guy entertainers. Not every person knows his name, but rather everybody perceives his face on account of a broad filmography that stretches back to 1970. Key jobs on Cheers and Hill Street Blues acquainted crowds with his expressive face and irregular voice. Those characteristics made him a characteristic for playing shabby characters, and the Addams Family wisely cast him as Tully Alford, a deceptive attorney who incubates an arrangement to get inside the tribe's home and attack the vault where they keep all their cash. As usual, Hidaya procures giggles with moderate consume responses and whimsical conveyance of lines. Hidaya remains a sought-after entertainer. Since 1991, he has worked in many TV and film creations, both parody and show. One of his most celebrated jobs is playing Alicia Silverstone's dad in Clueless. He has additionally worked for top chiefs like Bryan Singer in The Usual Suspects, Ron Howard in Ransom, and David Lynch in Mulholland Drive. The entertainer importantly depicted a comic adaptation of Richard Nixon in the satire Dick, close by Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams. Hidaya's latest credits incorporate a year ago's Al Pacino show The Humbling, just as scenes of Blue Bloods and The Mindy Project. His next film, Douglas Brown, is scheduled for discharge in the not-so-distant future. Dana Ivey, Margaret Alford. Similarly, as with numerous Addams Family cast individuals, Dana Ivey has broad stage insight. The entertainer who played Tully's better half cousin, It's Indulgence, accomplished the uncommon accomplishments of being designated for 2 Tony Awards in a similar season for 1984's Sunday in the Park with George and Heartbreak House. On screen, she carried her reliable ability to projects as different as The Color Purple, Postcards from the Edge, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Elizabeth Wilson, Abigail Craven. Veteran entertainer Elizabeth Wilson started her screen profession in 1946 with a touch part in Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious. From that point, she amassed many credits. She was a Tony Award victor for the play Sticks and Stones in 1972, in addition to a top choice of Chief Mike Nichols, who cast her in The Graduate, Catch-22, and Regarding Henry. She had remarkable parts in All Day and The Incredible Shrinking Woman, too. In The Addams Family, Wilson was given a role as Abigail Craven, a lady who contrives with Alfred to burglarize the faction. She acts like a therapist named Dr. Pinderschloss to hoodwink Gomez. Carol Stryken, Lurch. An Addams Family film may never have met up if the producers hadn't had the option to discover an entertainer to play Lurch, the enormous attendant to the gathering. They required somebody tall, yet in addition somebody who could coordinate the whimsical mind Ted Cassidy broadly brought to the job on the 1960s TV arrangement. Fortunately, they discovered 7-foot-tall Dutch entertainer Carol Stryken. Though co-star John Franklin had a development hormone inadequacy, Stryken was brought into the world with acromegaly, a condition in which the pituitary organ creates an excess of development hormone. The entertainer utilized this for his potential benefit, catching jobs that necessary very enormous men, for example the Giant, on Twin Peaks. Stryken was a champion as Lurch, however the basic reality is that there are definitely not a ton of parts for individuals of his stature. Irregular film and TV work followed, most eminently in Barry Sonfield's 1987 Crush Men Dressed in Black, and all the more as of late NBC's The Blacklist. The entertainer occupies his time by seeking different interests. He is a devoted photographic artist and runs a site committed to circular scenes, 360-degree pictures that give watchers a feeling that they are in a fixed position yet can glance around. Christopher Hart, Thing. Of everybody in the cast, Christopher Hart has the most limited resume. That is on the grounds that acting was never his essential livelihood. At the delicate youthful age of 8, he got intrigued by enchantment and chose to seek after it, later picking up acknowledgement into the amazing Magic Castle's lesser program, and in the long run working for illusionist David Copperfield. Hart likewise performed skillful deception stunts in plugs for McDonald's and other notable organizations. His ability in controlling his hands prompted him being given a role as Thing, a character who is just a free hand that creeps around and sporadically roosts itself on Fester's head. Hart repeated the part for Addams Family Values and furthermore played a hand in the 1999 Seth Green ghastliness parody Idle Hands. Do you see a pattern arising here? By and huge, however, he has adhered to the wizardry business where he is known as the man with the celebrity hand. Hart ventures to the far corners of the planet, bewildering crowds with his abilities. Jimmy Workman, Pugsley. How's this for an introduction? The Addams Family stamped Jimmy Workman's first acting execution. That he stood his ground close by some heavyweight entertainers indicated what a characteristic he has. He got the part coincidentally. His more established sister Chanel was pursuing the part of Wednesday, and he went with her to the tryout. The projecting chief saw Jimmy and detected something, had him perused for Pugsley. He got employed. Chanel didn't. That probably made for some off-kilter nights at home. Worker didn't generally appear to have acting in his blood, notwithstanding the significant job in a major film. He puttered around a tad, springing up in As Good as It Gets in 1997 and doing an uncredited appearance in the Chris Farley David Spade vehicle Black Sheep. He was additionally a creation right hand on Star Trek Insurrection. In 2004, he resigned from acting forever. Raul Julia, Gomez. Puerto Rican entertainer Raul Julia had a vocation that was probably as assorted as one can get. From the beginning, he worked in the New York Shakespeare Festival and on the exemplary children's show Sesame Street. Selected for numerous Tony Awards, Julia's breakout film job was playing Valentin in 1985's widely praised Kiss of the Spider Woman. He went on to co-star in movies as shifted as Tequila Sunrise, Frankenstein Unbound, and Clint Eastwood's The Rookie. The entertainer wrenched up the smooth, hazily suave side of Gomez Addams, transforming him into a peculiar kind of heartbreaker. It was a new interpretation of a natural character, and it procured him rave surveys. Indeed, it was demonstrated how a decent entertainer can carry profundity to a feathery popcorn film. Angelica Houston, Morticia. Coming into the Addams family, Angelica Houston was at that point Hollywood sovereignty. Her dad was Chief John Houston, the Maltese Falcon and the African Queen, and her granddad was entertainer Walter Houston, who won an Oscar for his job in The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Angelica was an Oscar victor as well, having been named Best Supporting Actress of 1985's For Prizzy's Honor, in which she featured close by long-term hit-or-miss beau Jack Nicholson. Her very presence in The Addams Family spoke to a significant projecting overthrow. Houston looked like Morticia, bringing a steamy yet brilliant quality to the character. Her scenes with Raul Julia emitted sentimental vibes that gave a sprinkle of humankind to the generally misrepresented nature of the film. Christina Richie, Wednesday. From the time she made her screen debut as Cher's little girl in 1990's Mermaids, plainly Christina Richie was a youthful entertainer with significant ability. She was the ideal decision to play Wednesday, the haziest and generally dismal of the Addamses. With a pitch-wonderful empty conveyance and a wicked glint in her eyes, Richie immediately set her fame, acquiring honors from pundits and crowds the same. The next year saw the entertainer cast in a wide assortment of movies, including generally welcome dramatizations The Ice Storm, The Opposite Sex, Sleepy Hollow, and Monster, in addition to light comedies, for example, John Waters' Pecker and Woody Allen's Anything Else. I think you know whose words it was. What do you say? Leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to be notified when a new video appears. Take care of yourself.